cooking video of 2023. I'm starting out with something a little bit simple, but something that's not really, I would say it's not really well known. A lot of people don't fix green beans this way, but since I've introduced Brooks to eating them this way, I think this is probably his favorite way, even over like southern green beans with bacon. So we're actually gonna make Greek green beans, and they're very simple. You don't probably not as simple as a southern green bean, but they are very simple. Here's Georgia Peach. She says hello. Hello, baby. We got some fresh green beans here. I would say it's probably 1.5 pounds of green beans. I've got my home canned tomatoes. You don't have to use home canned. You can just use some diced tomatoes. If you like them petite diced, use those. If you like the larger diced, use those. And an onion. And then when we get them over to the stove, we're gonna saute the onion in olive oil and oregano, and then add in the green beans and the tomatoes and some chicken broth, and we're gonna let those simmer for a little while until they cook down, and they will be delicious. So I'm probably not gonna leave you on here while I cut onions and break the beans. Brooks usually does that with me quite a bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it today. And it's a snowy, or it's gonna be a snowy, they say it's gonna be a snowy day here in the Smokies. Where we live, it probably won't get very much, but we never know. We can be surprised. So maybe a snow day coming up here, which is always, well, it's fun and cozy, but it can also be stressful because in our area we lose our power pretty easily because there are so many trees in the area, and because there are so many mountain roads everywhere. The power, the trees following power lines, and you know, people can get stranded pretty easily in their homes, and power can be out. One Christmas Eve a few years ago, it went out just about 7 o'clock in the evening on Christmas Eve as we were watching It's a Wonderful Life, which is something we do every year. And the power went out. It was cold. We had about 8 inches of snow, which is really even still unusual for our area. So we were definitely having a white Christmas this year, or that year. It was 2020, I believe. And power went out, and we didn't get power back for about 4 days. And needless to say, it was cold, and we don't have a generator, so we had to make do with some more primitive ways of living. So it was actually, it ended up being a very memorable Christmas, because the first Christmas day we didn't have any power, and Christmas dinner, I think it was pizza, because our kids brought us some pizza, and it was really cold, and anyway, we were grateful for it. But snow is not as pretty, but it's not always ideal in our living situations. And there's Phineas. He has decided he wants to watch what I'm doing today. Alright, we've got an onion chopped up. Alright. Yeah, they don't need to be really finely chopped. And I'm not sure that I'm even going to use all of this onion. This is a sweet Vidalia, but we'll see. I just need to break some beans, and something I do, and I don't know, I'm sure other people do it too, is I just break the beans right in a produce bag, and there we go. How do you break your beans? Do you like them broken? I need you to get down, please. Thank you. Do you break your beans in smaller pieces, or do you just break them half like this? I like them broken half. Brooks likes them broken smaller pieces, so I'm probably gonna break them in smaller pieces. It's his favorite vegetable in the whole world. Give him a choice of almost any vegetable, and he'll either choose green beans or asparagus. And that's what he likes. So we are going to break the rest of these beans, and then I will take you over to the stove and show you how to get these green beans going, because they are delicious. Okay, everybody, so we're back at the stove. Our beans are broke, our onions are chopped up, and now we're going to start the process of making these delicious green beans. So I've got my pot heated up, and you're going to add about 1/4 cup of olive oil. I know that sounds crazy, but that is part of what makes this dish delicious. It's a healthy oil. Mediterranean cooking uses a lot of olive oil, and it's just going to give these green beans a wonderful, wonderful, silky, not greasy, but silky kind of texture. So olive oil's in the pan. I'm going to add in our onion. I'm going to go ahead and use all the onion because it's about equal parts onion to beans to your tomatoes. And if you don't have home canned tomatoes, go ahead and buy store-bought. You can also use frozen green beans in this. Fresh were on sale. It was a good price, so I bought fresh. And so that's what I did. Alright, so we've got our onions started. You're not going to cook them all the way through. You're just going to give them a minute or so and let them saute and absorb some of that olive oil. And we're also going to go in with a nice big heaping spoonful. And again, I don't measure my I don't measure very much. I'm more of a kind of feel it cook, but I'm going to try and give you basic measurements of how much I think about it is. Alright, so oregano is one of the key ingredients here. And I'm going in with about 1 tablespoon. And our tomatoes have salt in them, but really nothing else does. Then the broth has salt, but we're going to add just a little bit of seasoning salt, because we don't like bland food around here. Alright, there we go. Just kind of swish it around and give it a minute. Okay, it has been maybe 2 minutes, and they're already starting to get translucent, and that's probably, you don't want them to cook all the way through just yet. So what we're going to do next is add in our canned tomatoes, and this is going to make quite a bit. You can always just make half if you don't like half, but Brooks loves green beans, and he has really learned to love these Greek green beans. So it's nice and incorporated, and that olive oil will cook down and cook into the beans. And then we're just going to add in our beans. They've been washed and snapped, and they are ready to go. Give it a good stir. Alright, so you do need a little bit of chicken broth with this. Not very much. You don't want to drown it. You want it to be able to cook down over a period of about an hour, or however long you want to cook them for. I mean, they can cook on the stove all day on low, and my goodness, the flavor will be incredible. And that's actually what we're doing. It's kind of mid-morning, and I'm getting these started so that they can cook and get tender and be good to go. So we've got quite a bit of liquid in there. We don't need a whole lot. I actually probably poured too much. That's okay, we'll use it later. And I would say that's enough. That's, I don't know, half a cup maybe. But you don't want them to be like swimming, but you want it to have some liquid to cook down. So I am going to turn these up to about a 4 for a little bit and let them get to a simmer. And then I'm going to check on them and see how they're doing. And I always vent the lid so that the steam can escape so that they can cook down. And we will come back and show you when they are finished. Easy, easy. Okay, these beans and tomatoes and these Greek green beans have been simmering on the stove for probably 4 hours on simmer or low. They are good and tender, and they're done. Look how pretty they are. I will show you what they look like on a serving plate, serving bowl, and then I will be sure to write the recipe in the comments. And I hope that you try these and you love them. I will be back in a minute to show you what they look like, ready to serve. Our green beans, our Greek green beans, are done. They're finished. I think they simmered for around 4.5 hours, and they got nice and tender and full of flavor. And look how good that looks. There's just, you can see the garlic and the tomatoes. And remember when I said they would be silky but not greasy? You can kind of see that in the texture. They just look delicious. So I have Mr. Ramsay here, Mr. Brooks, and what is your favorite food in the whole world besides steak?
Green beans.
And tomatoes.
I do love tomatoes, yes. Well, I don't think that is a food. I usually think of that as just something to drink. And when I say that, what I mean is when we canned our tomatoes, I would just drink tomatoes out of the jar, because that's what I did growing up. And so when you mix tomatoes and green beans, we've hit the mother lode.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So he'd never had these until I made them for him.
Right.
And now he requests them regularly. So I'm going to go ahead and let you try them
Okay.
for our friends. And you can let me know what you think, if they're good or we should throw them out.
They're always the best. See, here's the thing. When I grew up, green beans was just, you broke beans, yellow bacon, you might have had a little broth, maybe. And, maybe a little butter. You don't even need any of that for this, because you got garlic, you got tomatoes, you got beans, and it's just good. So
pick up the bowl and show them, honey.
Pick it up. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that bowl.
Amazing.
So let's get into this. I'll get a little bite of everything there. I'm gonna burn myself. I don't know what heaven's gonna taste like, if it tastes like anything, but if it does, it's gonna taste like Greek green beans. Because, man, now not to mention that she's throwing taters and country fried steak in with this meal. It's gonna be fantastic. It always is. But I tell you what, if you're looking for something just hearty, fill you up, and pretty healthy too.
Just a good side dish that's a little bit different than your ordinary green beans.
Yeah. It's got everything that we like in the South, tomatoes and green beans and everything. They're just like what they call them, Greek. So,
well, that's how they make them in the Mediterranean.
So for my Greek and Mediterranean friends out there, I will say, Opa. and enjoy. Till next time, we'll see you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share our videos if you like us. You guys have a great and blessed day. Bye.
Bye-bye.